let us continue our discussion on this. By definition, we know A comma B belongs to R1 or A comma B belongs to R2. Please note, this is an inclusive R. It may be the case that AB is present in R1 as well as in R2. We know that R1 is symmetric, therefore B comma A belongs to R1. Fine. Now R, similar reasoning. We know that R2 is symmetric. Because of this, B comma A belongs to R2. So it may be the case that AB is present in R1. Because of that, BA is present in R1, and or AB is also present in R2. Because of that, BA is present in R2. Now with this you can conclude that B comma A belongs to R1 union R2. If it is present in this, then you get this. If it is present in this, you get this. If it is both also, you get this. So what is that we have shown? If AB is present in R1 union R2, we have shown that BA is present in R1 union R2 using the fact that R1 is symmetric, R2 is symmetric, therefore BA is present. This implies that R1 union R2 is symmetric. So we have shown that R1 union R2 is reflexive, and now we have shown R1 union R2 is symmetric. So the next question is R1 union R2 transitive? Suppose we prove this as well, then we can conclude R1 union R2 is an equivalence relation, given that R1 is an equivalence relation, R2 is an equivalence relation. So what is that we are supposed to show? If AB and BC belongs to R1 union R2, then A comma C belongs to R1 union R2. So if these two are present, then AC must be present in R1 union R2. Fine. Now, if this is present, then it may be the following cases can come, right? It may be the case that AB, BC and both are in R1 or both are in R2. Or it may be the case that AB is in R1 and BC is in R2. Okay. But suppose this situation happens, AB alone is present in R1, it is transitive, because the definition only says AB and BC. So BC is not there, so this is transitive. This is also transitive because only BC is present. But when you take the union, you see that AB and BC both are there, but we will not get AC either by using the fact that R1 is transitive or R2 is transitive. So I am saying if this situation happens, there is a possibility that the union is not transitive. So let us cook a counter example satisfying this, because we doubt this case can lead to a non-transitive relation. Let us cook an example on that line. As always, fix set or the UOD and choose a relation R1 which is an equivalence relation So this must be an equivalence relation. It is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. And R2, another equivalence relation, 2, 2, 3, 3, and say 2, 3, and 3, 2. R2 is an example of an equivalence relation. It is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. Now what is that we are trying to construct? We are trying to construct a counter example which must satisfy the premise. Premises both are equivalence relation, and we want to show that their union is not. Let's look at R1 union R2. R1 union R2 as 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. In addition to that, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2. Now this is reflexive. Yes, it is reflexive. Is it symmetric? Yes, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2. Is it transitive? 1, 2 is present, 2, 1 is present, 1, 2 is present, 2, 3 is present, but 1, 3 is absent. So it is not transitive. So 1, 2, 2, 3 belongs to R1 union R2. However, 1, 3 does not belong to R1 union R2. Therefore, it is not transitive. So, what is that we have established? We have shown that R1 union R2 satisfies reflexivity, symmetricity, fails to satisfy transitivity. Therefore, R1 union R2 is not an equivalence relation. Reason, transitivity property fails. Now we will ask, is R1 intersection R2 transitive? Now let us check, is R1 intersection R2 an equivalence relation? Given that R1 and R2 are an equivalence relation. So first one is R1 intersection R2 reflexive. For all A belonging to this, A comma A belongs to R1 and A comma A belongs to R2, which implies that A comma A belongs to R1 intersection R2. This implies that the R1 intersection R2 is reflexive. Now, does it satisfy symmetricity? Yes. We show that if A comma B belongs to R1 intersection R2, then we show that B comma A belongs to R1 intersection R2. The argument is very similar to what we did for union. If this is true, then A comma B belongs to R1 and this is intersection. So, and A comma B belongs to R2. We know that R1 and R2 are symmetric. Therefore, B comma A belongs to R1 and B comma A belongs to R2. This implies that B comma A belongs to R1 intersection R2, which means this is symmetric. Let's look at, does this satisfy transitivity property? If AB BC belongs to R1 intersection R2, then we show that A comma C belongs to R1 intersection R2, or we need to show that A comma C belongs to R1 intersection R2 If this is proved, then it is transitive. Otherwise, we need to look for a counterexample. And it is intersection, which means AB, BC belongs to R1 intersection R2. This means AB, BC belongs to R1 and AB, BC belongs to R2. We know that R1 is transitive, which means A comma C belongs to R1. We know that R2 is transitive, which means A comma C belongs to R2. A comma C belongs to R1 and A comma C belongs to R2, which implies that A comma C belongs to R1 intersection R2. So it means R1 intersection R2 is transitive. Since it satisfies reflexivity, symmetricity and transitivity, we conclude that R1 intersection R2 is an example equivalence relation. Now this is interesting. You define a set with some property and then you bring set theoretic operation. You create a new set. You ask, does that set satisfy so and so property or not? So on the similar line we have experimented equivalence relation. Now one can ask similar question, is given that R1 and R2 are partial orders, is R1 union R2 a partial order? Is R1 intersection R2 a partial order? Partial order must satisfy reflexivity, antisymmetric and transitive. Just now we have seen that R1 and R2, they are partial orders, they satisfy transitivity property. Their union need not satisfy transitivity property. So because of that, R1 union R2 need not be a partial order. So R1 union R2 need not satisfy transitivity property, which means it is not a partial order. Now the question is R1 intersection R2 a partial order? Similar proof for reflexivity is true, and similar proof for transitivity it is true. How about antisymmetric? Let's check antisymmetric one. R1 is antisymmetric, R2 is antisymmetric. Does this imply R1 intersection R2 is antisymmetric? So if AB and BA both are present in R1, implies that A equals B. Fine. So if AB and BA both are present in R1 intersection R2, then we know that AB and BA, it is present in R1 and AB and BA is present in R2. Since R1 is symmetric, we know that A equals B. Since R2 is symmetric, we know that A equals B. Therefore, A equals B is true in R1 intersection R2 as well. So this is true in R1 intersection R2 as well, which means this one is antisymmetric, therefore it is a partial order. So given two partial orders R1 and R2, their intersection is an example partial order. Here is a proof to show that it is antisymmetric. To establish antisymmetric, what is that we are supposed to do? If AB and BA is present in R1 intersection R2, we need to show that A equals B. For that, I make use of the fact that R1 is antisymmetric and R2 is antisymmetric. Therefore, A equals B is true in R1 intersection R2 as well.